That's how much of the rubber comes off the tire over a given lap. The more the tire wears and degrades, the slower the lap time gets. And so taking care of these Firestones is so important. There's a lot of long, fast corners, a lot of big traction events, pulling out of some of these slower corners that can really wear the tires. So Felix doing a great job of managing that gap, but also trying to not go too fast and punish these tires so they can make it to the end without seeing a 1 or 2 second a lap drop off.
This is stuff that dreams are made of. For Nolan Siegel in that white, black and Dayglow car right there for Dale Coyne Racing, he is chasing a driver who he looks up to and admires, who also came out of the Road to Indy program, Colton Herta, a multi-time winner in Indycar Series, and he's in his first Indycar race, and he's trying to make it through, make that cut line. You see the red line on the graphic there, to be in the first 6 to go through and participate in the $1 Million Challenge. This is an incredible story. Rosenquist, McLaughlin, Newgarden, Lundgaard, Canapino, and Herta.
And you see it, I mean, he's hanging about a second off the back of this Gainbridge Honda, Colton Herta. Nolan Siegel doing a phenomenal job right now. You just heard that, plus 0.7 over Nolan, so very much in the fight. Similar amount of push to pass for each of those drivers as well.
Check this out, Will Power on the inside of Kyle Kirkwood. Nice move.
What a cool place to pass. Kyle Kirkwood on the over-under. You see that damage flapping around, pushing him all the way to the wall there, but Will's got the inside line here into 15. Some great side-by-side racing. That was a definitive move from Will Power into 14 here.
Here's the switchback. Nice work between these two. Remember, Will Power on the comeback after being pushed wide at turn 1. And so the countdown begins in heat 1 of the Thermal Club $1 Million Challenge. 4.5 minutes to go. And that sounds good for Felix Rosenquist. There he is. There's second place, Scott McLaughlin. Third place, Joseph Newgarden.
And just look at that on the pylon diff. Kyle Kirkwood, 0 seconds of push to pass. He burned it all. Marty, what do you know about the 60?
Well, to your point a moment ago, Hinch, you know, Rosenquist has a very comfortable 1.2 second lead. Why would he be worried about tires? Listen in, here's why.
Felix, with the yellow here, we believe it's going to be about another 5 laps, so 5 laps to think about your tires if you need it.
And what that further radio conversation went on to mention, if there's another restart, Hinch, you would want the freshest tires possible. That's why they reminded him, hey, make sure you're taking care of those tires as well.
Exactly right. There's no need to win this race by 4 or 5 seconds if it's going to take a lot of life out of the tires. If you do have another caution and have another restart, you want as much life left in those Firestones as possible. So a very mature drive right now from Rosenquist, just controlling the pace, controlling that gap, and taking care of his equipment.
3:30 left on the clock. We ride aboard the XPEL Chevy with Scott McLaughlin.
You're pulling away from Joseph.
Scott just trying to do everything clean here, not make any mistakes. You see that little bit of oversteer on the exit. That's the kind of thing you're trying to avoid to take care of those tires. Right there, turn 8. That's where all that big accidents happen, the big accidents in qualifying and practice with the Andretti Global cars. We got to say the balance of this car looks pretty calm at the moment. And again, these guys know they just have to be in that top 6 to transfer and have a shot at this big payday.
There are 5 different teams in the top 6 positions, and one of them is Hunko's Hollinger Racing. Its other car, driven by Romain Grosjean, was crashed out in turn 1, and Grosjean said to Marty, who's going to pay for that crash damage? Well, his teammate could be a good teammate if he makes the $1 Million Challenge and wins some big bucks. That could certainly help with that crash damage.
Yeah, it might make the blow a little softer for Ricardo Juncos there, the team owner. But Agustin Canapino just doing a phenomenal job. He's pulling away from Colton Herta pretty definitively. He was over 0.7 of a second faster than the Andretti driver on that last lap. So the pace is genuine there out of Canapino.
This track is 3 miles long, and the next time by, they will see the last lap flag, the white flag. Take a moment with the variety of camera shots to take a big look around, folks, just where we are. We've got the little San Bernardino Mountains, the San Jacinto and Santa Rosa Mountains surrounding us here at the Thermal Club. Look at that for a setting. I mean, this is extraordinary. There hasn't been a non-points race in this series since 08, and that was in Australia. So this is something different and something new and something very cool.
And drivers want to be the first to win something new and something different and something cool, Diff. And Scott McLaughlin now, I think, is starting to maybe put a little bit of pressure on to Felix Rosenqvist. The drivers know they're going to be coming to the white flag. No need to take care of those tires anymore. They each have about 20 seconds of push to pass left, but that gap has come down from about 1.2 seconds to now just 0.7 of a second. You see the push to pass there on the pylon, so I think McLaughlin knows he's coming to the last lap. These tires aren't going to be used again, so let's put the hammer down and see if we can force the 60 into a mistake.
Hey, the pressure is on bottom box. There is a rookie chasing the youngest ever winner in the history of Indycar. Nolan Siegel is not letting Colton Herta get away. This is a great scrap. And behind him, he's got Santino Ferrucci of AJ Foyt Racing, and then Will Power.
What a story that would be if young Nolan Siegel could keep Andretti Global from advancing in the first heat. Dalecoin Racing tested this young driver. He only had a day in the car at Sebring before he got the nod to do this race. He's doing 3 others. Oh, a little bit of a mistake from Nolan. A little bit wide in turn 1.
Here comes Santino Ferrucci in that Sexton Properties Chevrolet, and Will Power is looming. This 6th place isn't guaranteed for Colton Herta. Meanwhile, in the top box, the race leader, Felix Rosenqvist, won the pole. It doesn't go against his IndyCar career pole position tally, but the team, and Elio Castro Neves, the 4-time Indy 500 winner, texted me last night and said, hey, to us, that counts as a pole. We'll take it.
He led the field to green in a race of sorts. It was only a heat, but still, it's an emotional pole if nothing else. Nolan Siegel trying to hang on to that 7th place in case there's a problem in front. Colton Herta, nice gap now, as well as a gap between Rosenqvist and McLaughlin up front. Only a few corners to go now. McLaughlin's got it down a half a second. He's heading into the corner, but Will Power made the move on Kirkwood.
On your box.